Game 2 of the 2025 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Baseball Championships about to get underway here, as we've already got one in the books. Montana State Billings with a 5-4 win over Central Washington here in Ellensburg. And now it is time to see the number 1 seed Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks for the first time, as they will play as designated home team against the number 3 seed Central Washington Wildcats. Welcome in to our second game of the day here at CWU Baseball Field. Glad you can join us for this one, as Landon Parker will be the starter in this one for the Nighthawks. Parker just making his 7th start of the season. He's got a 3-2 record, 3.47 his ERA on the year, a junior out of Veneta, Oregon, just outside of Eugene. No, Parker getting the start for game number 1. Let's take a look at the Wildcat lineup as Marcus Manzardo steps to the plate to get us going. Manzardo's going to play second. Baba Varner Jr.'s in right again, hitting second. Brandon Ponce will be at third. Ben Lead cleans up in left. Max Bleddy in center field, as Parker ready for his first pitch offered in, and it's in for called strike number 1. Andrew Sharp will hit 6th and play first. Brady Hinkle's the DH. Travis Helm will catch. First time we're going to see him, and Justin Birch is the shortstop. Landon Parker working from a stretch with the bases empty, gets an 0-1 grounder out towards second. Brubaker's throw over to first, going to be scooped out in time for the first out of the ball game.
Number 10, Baba Varner Jr.
Taking a look at the Northwest Nazarene defense for this one. Jason Bell is the battery mate of Parker. He'll be behind the plate. Caleb Karpstein at first, Gavin Brubaker at second, Cole Calnan at short, and Brian Rojas at third. In the Nighthawk outfield, it's Adrian Arachiga in left, Carter Walsh in center, and Nin Burns the second in right field. Here's Baba Varner Jr. at the plate with 1 out and no one on. He cuts through one for strike number 1. So an interesting choice for the first start for Northwest Nazarene in these GNAC championships in Landon Parker. So there's a swing and a miss, 0-2 now the count. He's mixed time between the starting rotation as well as the bullpen. Again, his 7th start of the year, 17th overall appearance. 0-2, cut and a miss by Baba Varner. And there's the first strikeout of the day for Parker. He's pitched 46 2/3 innings this year. 25 runs, 18 were earned. 44 strikeouts and 16 walks, holding opponents to a .222 batting average. And now he'll deal with Brandon Ponce with 2 outs and no one on. First offering in called strike on Ponce. So a big offensive day for Bodie Wright, the MSUB second baseman in that first game of the day. Had a 3-run home run and finished a triple shy of the cycle in the 5-4 Yellow Jackets win. 0-1 swing and a miss from Ponce. So MSUB has guaranteed their spots here on Friday, as they still have one more game today. They'll take on NNU after the conclusion of this one. 0-2, breaking ball, laced back up the middle, and Ponce has himself a 2-out single. We saw Ponce go 1 for 4 in that first game, and was the final out of the ball game, flying out to deep center field to secure the win for the Yellow Jackets. That'll bring up Ben Lead. It's quite the 3-4 punch of this order for Central Washington. You've got Ponce hitting in the 3 spot as the 2025 GNAC Player of the Year, and then Ben Lead was given that honor back in 2024, hits right behind him. So no break for Landon Parker here as he misses outside 1-0. Lead with a really nice first game. 3 for 4, a double and a run scored in the loss. Central Washington playing for their season here. This is a must-win scenario for the Wildcats. 1-0 slider will run low. 2 balls, no strikes. And a very tall order indeed for the Wildcats, as they have yet to beat Northwest Nazarene this year. Nighthawks 8-0 against Central Washington over the regular season. The 2-0 flown to deep right center field, but Walsh able to track it down. He makes a catch and ends a quiet top of the first inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one left aboard. Northwest Nazarene will get their first chance at the plate when we come back. 0-0 here on GNAC TV. Scoreless ball game heads to the bottom of the first inning. Northwest Nazarene getting their first chance at the plate. Landon Parker did give up a 2-out single to Brandon Ponce in the top of the first, but other than that, quiet offensive start for the Wildcats. First pitch fastball tipped foul by Nin Burns the second. The leadoff hitting right fielder for the Nighthawks. 0-1 breaking ball, going to catch the inside edge to quickly put him into an 0-2 count from Jonathan Garza the second. Right-hander out of Othello, Washington, 4-3 record and a 6.11 earned run average. 0-2 chopper is just foul down the third base line. Let's take a look at the NNU lineup at the plate. Nin Burns the second, the man at the plate, leads off and plays right. Brian Rojas is at third. Caleb Karpstein at first. Adrian Arachigas in left. Chris Enriquez is the designated hitter. He'll hit fifth. Cole Callan plays short. Gavin Brubaker's at second. Jason Bell catching and hitting in the 8th spot. And Carter Walsh finishes off the order in center field. Garza making his third appearance of the year on the mound against Northwest Nazarene for Central Washington. He's gone 6 innings each of his last 2 starts against them. There's a foul off. He remains 0-2 against Burns. His defense behind him, his battery mate is Travis Helm behind the dish. Andrew Sharps at first. Manzardo again at second. Birch at short and Ponce at third. 0-2 bounces in front of home. A ball and 2 strikes. Ben Leeds in left. Max Bloody in center. And Bob Varner Jr. in right field. So defensively, looking at the same thing with the exception of Helm catching, Hinkle has moved to the designated hitter slot for game number 2 for Central Washington. 1-2 breaking ball. Grounded through the left side. That's going to be a leadoff single for Burns. Northwest Nazarene has been an absolute handful for opponents this season. The number 1 seed in the GNAC, also the number 1 seed in the West region. 38 wins, 12 losses overall, 27-5 in conference play. They come into the GNAC championships on an 8-game winning streak and winners of 23 of their last 25. Here's Brian Rojas. First pitch, fastball, swing and a miss. with the regular season title here in 2025. Northwest Nazarene has now captured 4 of the last 5 regular season championships. Another miss low. 1-1 the count on Rojas. Brian Rojas named the tournament MVP during the 2024 GNAC Championships back in Billings, Montana. Just a cut and a miss to move him into a 1-2 count. Part of that NNU team that was able to top Western Oregon in the championship game at Dealer Park. Rojas got it done on both sides of the baseball during those championships. Liner at third, caught by Ponce. So throw back to first. Not in time to double off Burns, but Rojas retired. 1 down here in the bottom of 1.
Number 8, first baseman Caleb Karpstein.
Brings up Caleb Karpstein, junior first baseman, first team all-conference honoree this year. Hitting .406 to lead Northwest Nazarene in batting average. Been a dangerous bat. In 41 games, managed to come up with 54 hits, slugging .586, and an on-base percentage over .500. Karpstein lifts it down the left field line. That's going to one-hop the fence. Heading for third is Burns. He holds up there, and Karpstein into second with a stand-up double. 2 hits in the first 3 batters for the Nighthawks. Their offense wastes no time getting off to a hot start.
Number 20, left fielder Adrian Arachiga.
So a single for Burns to lead off. Karpstein delivering his 11th double of the year. 2 batters later, puts men at second and third with just 1 away. And Jonathan Garza finding himself in a little bit of early trouble as he now deals with Adrian Arachiga. Corners in for the Wildcat infield. That misses outside, 1-0. Last time these teams faced off, you got to go back to April 19th. Again, NNU sweeping both those 4-game series. They did go to extras in that last series. 1-0 lifted into right field. That's caught by Varner. It's going to allow both base runners to tag. Burns in to score. Arachiga has himself an RBI, and it's an NNU 1-0 lead in the bottom of 1. That's Arachiga's 46th RBI of the season. He's 1 off of catching Burns for the team lead in runs batted in. And here's DH Chris Enriquez. 2 outs, and Karpstein at third base. Runs inside, gets back to the backstop, and Karpstein will score on the wild pitch. It's now 2-0 Northwest Nazarene. Enriquez awaits the 1-0. Swings and grounds it out to second. Knocked down by Manzardo. Gets away from him. He's not going to have time to throw over, and it's an infield single for Enriquez. The inning continues with the 3rd hit for Northwest Nazarene in the frame.
Number 4, Cole Calnan.
So 6th batter of the inning is the shortstop, Cole Calnan. 1 hopper out to a diving Manzardo. He knocks it down, throws to second. Outstanding defensive play to end the inning. And that'll get Central Washington out of trouble. 2 runs do score, however, on the power of 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on. It's a 2-0 Northwest Nazarene lead through one inning of play. It'll be Bleddy, Sharp, and Hinkle due up when we come back for the second here on GNAC TV. The Northwest Nazarene lead as we get into the top of the second inning. Landon Parker, his first pitch in, is going to catch Max Bleddy on the elbow. So it'll be a leadoff man aboard for the Wildcats. In the bottom of the first, it was a double from Caleb Karpstein. A sacrifice fly would bring Nin Burns in, who singled the lead off the inning, and then a wild pitch would allow Karpstein to score. That's how the scoring went down to get NNU up by a pair to start this game. Here's Andrew Sharp with one on and nobody out. First pitch misses outside. Last time that Landon Parker faced Central Washington, got to go back to April 19th. 6 innings, 2 runs, 1 was earned on 4 hits. Struck out 5 and walked 2. This one popped up into shallow center field. Trotting in is Carter Walsh. He's there to make the catch. And we have our first down to the top of the second.
Number 3, designated hitter Brady Hinkle.
Wildcats look to have control of game number 1 of these GNAC championships. Held a 3-2 lead over MSUB going into the back third of that game, but then Bodie Wright with a 3-run home run. Put Montana State Billings up for good. Brady Hinkle awaits his 1-0. He caught in game number 1, moved to the DH position here for the second game to give the legs a rest. He went 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch, and had a sac bunt in that first game. Max Bleddy at first base after being hit by a pitch to lead off this inning. That one runs behind Hinkle. Two-one. This is just off the edge. 3 balls and 1 strike from Landon Parker. Cut and a miss is going to make the count full here for Hinkle. Runner takes off on the 3-2 as it's flared into shallow right center field. Turning around second, Bleddy will get into third easily. So a little one-out base hit there for Brady Hinkle. That's his second of the day between these two games. Puts men on the corners. Tying run is aboard with just one out and brings up Travis Helm. So here's our first look at Helm for this tournament. A senior from Beaverton, Oregon. Helm does have some GNAC baseball experience, previously playing for Concordia. As he watches a first pitch breaking ball drop in for a strike. This is the 27th start of the year for the catcher. That one misses outside, 1-1. 292 batting average in those previous 26 starts, 29 total appearances. He's got Hinkle at first, Bleddy at third, and watches a called strike in to move his count 1-2. The 1-2 from Parker. Fastball on the ground out towards short. Calman goes to second for one. Brubaker over to first, not in time. That's going to bring a run in. Bleddy will come in to score. It's a fielder's choice reach for Helm, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Number 13, shortstop, Justin Birch.
Just the 11th RBI of the year for Helm. 2-1 our score here in the top of the second. Now Justin Birch, the fifth batter of the inning, swings on the first pitch. He sees a high fly ball deep towards left center field, back towards the warning track, at the wall and gone. Justin Birch hits his fifth home run of the season and has given the Wildcats a lead here in the second. Well, that one just continued to carry and carry, one of the deepest parts of the park at that. But Birch able to deliver, and all of a sudden it's a 3-run top of 2 for the Wildcats. Back to the top of the order with Marcus Manzardo. Fouls one away. First pitch of the at-bat, Birch. An absolute tank. This is low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Justin Birch had gotten off to a tough start, went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in his first game today. And immediately rights that ship here in game number 2. Two outs and nobody on. Parker's 2-1. Chopper towards second. Brubaker charging in. Gets it to first in time, and that will end the top of the second inning. But a 2-run home run from Justin Birch, part of a 3-run inning, coming on just 2 hits, no errors, and no one left on. Wildcats leading for the first time in this game. Central Washington 3, Northwest Nazarene 2 here on GNAC TV. Justin Birch with a 2-run homer in the top of the second inning helps to give Central Washington a 3-2 lead over Northwest Nazarene. Nighthawks have Brubaker, Bell, and Walsh back third of the order coming up here in the bottom of 2, facing Jonathan Garza the second, who misses low. A fastball start. The at-bat for Gavin Brubaker, the second baseman, hitting in the 7th spot. 1-0 fouled back. One's going to miss high, 2 balls and 1 strike. For Landon Parker, that is the first home run that he has allowed this season. And that was in over 46 innings of work. And what a spot to be able to deliver first home run against a pitcher if you're Birch. Misses outside, 3 balls, 1 strike, the count on Brubaker. Here's Garza's 3-1. Fouled back, the count now full. Jonathan Garza had to face 6 batters in the first. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. Included a double to Caleb Karpstein. Payoff pitch. And that's going to just catch as Brubaker was headed to first, and instead it'll be a backwards K. First strikeout of the day for Garza. We've got 1 away in the bottom of 2.
Catcher number 33, Jason Bell.
Here's the catcher, Jason Bell. 1 out, nobody on. Watches a breaking ball miss upstairs. Both these teams able to deliver multi-run innings in the first couple of frames. Called strike on Bell, even discounted 1-1. Bell taking catching duties for game number 1 for Northwest Nazarene. Cut and a miss, 1-2. Again, the one already in the books, MSUB 5-4 win over Central Washington. And now we've got the 1-3 seeds, NNU and Central here. 1 game to follow later this evening, Northwest Nazarene versus MSUB. 1-2 pitch, just misses, 2-2. And the season on the line for the Wildcats, as with a loss already on their record for the GNAC championships. They have to win this one or they will be headed home. 2-2. Cut and a miss. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Garza to start the inning.
Number 39, center fielder Carter Walsh.
So here's Carter Walsh with 2 outs and no one on. The 2024 GNAC Freshman of the Year back for his sophomore campaign. Fouls a fastball back. Been hitting .257 here in his second year of collegiate baseball. Garza looking for a clean inning, 0-1. This is outside, 1-1. One breaking ball fouled off on the first base side. A fun little landmark we could see reached here in these GNAC championships. NNU head coach Joe Schaefer, 3 wins shy of reaching 200 wins as the NNU head coach. Currently sits at 197 and 120 as the skipper of the Nighthawks. He's got over 500 all time as a head coach. He spent his previous 10 years down at his alma mater, Point Loma, before coming up and taking the NNU job 7 years ago. Counts now full on Carter Walsh. So a couple wins today and a win tomorrow for the Nighthawks. That'll get Schaefer to that 200 win mark. Three-two pitch, fouled back. Walsh, stick around. Garza gives a nod in. Here's another 3-2 offering and another foul away. Garza continues to roll with the fastball and Walsh sticking with it. This one just catches him at the knees, and Walsh will go down on strikeouts. And Jonathan Garza strikes out the side here in the second. 3-2 our score remains. Central Washington with the lead. We head to the third on GNAC TV. Three-two Wildcats lead over the Nighthawks. We're into the top of the third inning. Varner, Ponce, and Lee due up here in the top of three. Baba Varner Jr. swings on the first pitch he sees, and that's going to find a hole in right center field for a little leadoff single. First hit of the game for Varner Jr. So far in this one for Central Washington, it's been the back half of the order getting it done. Justin Birch with a 3-run dinger back in the second. Here's Brandon Ponce. He had a single in the first. He's 1 for 1. Watches a fastball run high and outside. Ponce tips one back into the glove, catcher Jason Bell. There is a scenario in which we see all three of these teams advance to play tomorrow. And that would be in the case where All three go 1-1 here in round robin play today. So the Wildcats going to need a win to continue that possibility. On top of that, then, NNU would have to beat MSUB. Then we have a scenario in which all three teams go 1-1. Should that be the case, we would then have bracket play tomorrow, where MSUB and Central Washington play in the noon game. Back pick to first is going to be in time. Bell gets it down to Karpstein, and Varner Jr. caught just a bit too far off of the bag. So the leadoff single taken off the base path. Baba Varner Jr. back picked at first. Brandon Ponce in a 3-2 count. Payoff pitch fouled away. So again, it would be bracket play then tomorrow if all three teams go 1-1. Central and MSUB would play at noon, and the winner of that game would then play Northwest Nazarene immediately to follow. Another 3-2 runs inside, and that's going to be a base on balls for Ponce, his second reach of this game. So here's Ben Lead. Umpire and crew for this game. Hadn't gotten to that one yet. Home plate umpire for this one is Todd Ellis. Cody Allenbrand at first, Tyler Schmidt at second, and John Campbell at third in this four-man Great Northwest Athletic Conference crew. Lead awaits the 0-1, takes it up and in. 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field, but Ben Lead, a 3-hit ball game against MSUB. Goes chasing one upstairs, 1-2. That'll miss high, evens the count up. Lead hitting well over 300 on the season. He puts one on the ground out to short. Cowlin will go to second himself. Steps on the bag, throws to first, and the double play wraps up the top of the third inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left to board. A back pick and a double play takes care of that. 2.5 innings in the books. Central Washington 3, Northwest Nazarene 2 here on GNAC TV. 3-2 Wildcat lead getting into the bottom of the third inning. Nin Burns the second leads things off for the Nighthawks. First pitch puts a slow roller left side of the infield. Ponce deals to first, one pitch and one out. The story of this game so far, Nighthawks were able to strike first, got a pair of runs in the bottom of one. Burns singled, Karpstein doubled. They were both brought in to score, and the Wildcats immediately responded. Two-run homer of Birch. Fielder's choice reach for Helm brought in a run. That made it 3-2. That's how it stayed since the top of the second. Brian Rojas with one out, and the base is empty. Takes a called strike. Rojas lining out to third base in his first at-bat. Fouls off the 0-1. Rojas, an impressive .371 batting average this season, second best on NNU, only topped by the .406 of Karpstein. Takes it low and inside. The product of Provo, Utah. Just had a streak of 7 consecutive games with a hit come to an end to end the regular season, as he went 0 for 3 against St. Martin's on the final day of the regular season. Finds himself here in a 1-2 count on the way. Breaking ball, runs low. Jonathan Garza struck out the side in the second. Those are the only 3 strikeouts we've seen from him in this game. Included a couple of backwards Ks against Brubaker and Walsh. 2-2. Lifted into left center, lead. Moving back towards the gap. Not going to be able to get there. Down for extra bases. Rojas cruising into second base with a one-out double.
Number 8, first baseman Caleb Karpstein.
So that puts to an end 5 consecutive retired by Jonathan Garza, dating back to the first inning. It's also the 4th hit of this game for NNU. That brings up Caleb Karpstein. He doubled and scored in the first. First pitch fastball, he'll cut through it for strike number 1. Closest game we've seen between these two teams this season. An extra innings affair in their second of the 2 series they played this year. That was back on April 18th here in Ellensburg. Wildcats looking to top the Nighthawks for the first time this season. Cut and a miss on the 0-2, and Karpstein goes down as the 4th strikeout victim of Garza. Well, with 4 Ks and 2 2/3, Garza off to a heck of a start strikeout-wise. Coming into today, 58 Ks in 63 1/3 innings. His season high, he had 8 strikeouts against NNU last time he got the start against him. That was on April 18th. He threw 6 innings, allowed a singular unearned run, and struck out 8 in those 6 frames. Here's Adrian Arechiga. 2 outs and a man at second base. Rojas with that 1-out double. Arechiga, a sac fly his first time up in the first. Three-2 the Wildcat lead here in the third. Breaking ball will miss outside, 2-0. Kick in the 2-0. Fastball runs up and in, just off the elbow of Arachiga. Arachiga, the only player for Northwest Nazarene to play in every game that they have had this season. This is game number 51 on the schedule for them. It's been 51 starts for Arachiga. Fouls it away. His count moves 3-1. Nin Burns right behind him. He's only missed one game, but somewhere in there, a couple guys have missed one in a series here, one in a series there, but Arachiga been a constant all year for NNU. 3-1 pitch, and fouls it on the right side. So his count runs full. 2 outs and a man at second here in the bottom of the third inning. Central Washington 3, Northwest Nazarene 2. Payoff pitch lifted into left field. Lead moving back. A few steps in front of the warning track. He is able to make the catch. And that ends a scoreless bottom of 3. No runs, a hit. It was a 1-out double for Rojas. He was left aboard. It remains a 1-run ball game, 3-2. Central Washington leads as we head to the 4th on GNAC TV.
Number 12, center fielder Max Blay leading off the 4th.
Wildcats maintain their 3-2 lead as we get to the top of the 4th inning. Bloody, Sharp, and Hinkle coming up for Central Washington in the top of the 4th. They continue to face Landon Parker. That one runs up and in. 2 balls, no strikes. So far for Parker, 3 innings of work. He's given up 3 runs on 4 hits. He's walked 1, hit another. He's got 1 strikeout in there. Couldn't miss on the 2-0 for Max Bloody. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the second, part of that 3-run inning for the Wildcats. That one chopped foul. 2-2 put on the ground, just fouled down the third base line. Rojas was ready for it. So Max Bleddy awaiting the 2-2. Cut and a miss in the dirt. Tag applied by Bell. That's going to be the second strikeout today for Landon Parker. So here's Andrew Sharp, 1 out, no one on. The first baseman, 0 for 1 today. Flew out to center field back in the second inning. Sharp, the first baseman, 300 average on this season. Watches his first pitch miss outside. Part of a team that hit .311 as a group, these Wildcats did this year. That was second best in the conference for offense. Also managed to slug 44 home runs. Birch making it 45 with his earlier in the game. Hard grounder out to short. Kalnin waits back on it. Throw to first in time for out number 2.
Number 3, designated hitter, Brady Hinkle.
That'll bring up Brady Hinkle. Giving the legs a rest here in game number 2 after catching in that 5-4 loss earlier today, but still wanted to keep that bat in the lineup. Swings over the top of his slider, 0-1. Pretty big bat to be having down in the 7th spot of the lineup as Hinkle comes into today hitting .349. Hitting in the 7th spot. Then you look up the rest of the lineup. You got Bleddy at .345, Ponce at .362. A lot of offense to be found up and down the Central Washington order. 0-2 pitch. Runs low and outside. 1 and 2 now on Hinkle. Landon Parker kicking the pitch. Grounded through the left side. 2-out single. Second of the day for Hinkle. And the inning kept alive for the Wildcats. That'll bring up Travis Helm, the catcher. That's now 5 hits for the Wildcats today. First pitch is a called strike on Helm. Oh, 1 breaker missing up and in. Helm and Hinkle seeing pretty similar action this season. It hasn't been like Helm just gets a start here and there. It's Travis Helm making his 27th start in this one, and for Hinkle, it's his 30th. And the nature of these double headers. Really gives you two catchers that are getting very similar reps. Two outs, man at first and a 2-2 count. Barker from a stretch, here it is. Breaker misses in, full count. Payoff pitch on the way as the runner goes. This one flared towards first over the head of Karpstein. Drops in for a base hit. Hinkle able to scurry all the way over to third on back-to-back two-out singles. So now Helm at first and Hinkle at third. And here comes the man that went yard in his last at-bat, Justin Birch. Before his at-bat, we'll see a mound visit. Looking at this coaching staff for NNU, got a couple guys on the staff that are no strangers to the GNAC championships, especially very recently. Got Kyle Etheridge and Grant Carey. Back to action. Men on the corners. Here's Justin Birch. First pitch in. Swings over the top of one. 0-1. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Wildcats with a 3-2 lead over the Nighthawks. NNU seeing their first action of the GNAC championships. Central Washington in their second game. Pitch in the dirt. So the count now 1-1. This one flown into shallow center field. Walsh moving in, but he's called off by Callan, the shortstop. He's there to make the catch and end a scoreless top of the fourth. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left on. It remains a 3-2 Central Washington lead here on GNAC TV. Bottom of the fourth inning. 3-2 Central Washington leads Northwest Nazarene. NNU looked to be getting out to a quick start offensively, but Jonathan Garza II really settled in since then. He's retired now. 7 of the last 8 batters he saw after giving up hits to 2 of the first 3. Here's a hard grounder down the first baseline off the bat of Chris Enriquez. It's going to stay fair as it rolls into the corner, and he has his second hit of the day, a leadoff single here in the bottom of the fourth. So Cole Calnan to the plate. Shortstop 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice in his last at bat. Calnan will certainly be seeing on the mound at some point in these GNAC championships, as he was named the pitcher of the year for the Great Northwest Athletic Conference this season. But also a second team shortstop is one of those outstanding two-way players that NNU has become known for. Hayden Keller, Brian Rojas, Cole Calnan all getting it done on both sides of the baseball in the last couple of years. Counts 0-2. Enriquez taking a short lead off of first. Fastball runs inside. Garza's 1-2 offering. Popped up first base side, playable for Sharp. He takes a step into foul territory, makes a catch, and we have one down in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Number 5, second baseman Gavin Brubaker.
So that brings up Gavin Brubaker, who struck out looking to start the second. The inning, Jonathan Garza struck out the side. In 3 1/3 now, he's got 4 strikeouts. Enriquez at first, the first pitch in, that's in for a called strike. Garza's 0-1, bunted foul, back to the screen. Brubaker, just a sophomore out of Lakewood, Washington. Part of a big group that'll be returning for NNU. It's going to be a dangerous team for quite a while. Again, we talked about Walsh, also a sophomore. Karpstein, a junior. He still has a year of eligibility. Landon Parker, today's starting pitcher for the Nighthawks, just a junior. They will be losing Calnan. He's in his senior campaign. Pitch in the dirt, gets away from Helm. That's going to allow Enriquez to try for second, but he's going to be dinged. So Enriquez tried to advance on a pitch that got away from Travis Helm, but he is put out for out number 2 of the inning. So despite a leadoff single, we've got 2 down, and the base is empty here in the bottom of the fourth for Northwest Nazarene's offense. Brubaker awaiting his 2-2 offering. Flared to right field, Varner Jr.'s got the read, and Garza faces the minimum here in the fourth. No runs, a hit, and no one left on. It remains a 3-2 Central Washington lead over Northwest Nazarene here on GNAC TV. 3-2 the score as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Central Washington maintaining a 1-run lead over Northwest Nazarene. Jonathan Garza faced the minimum in the 4th, got some help as Chris Enriquez thrown out at second by Travis Helm. Here's a hopper, just gets under the glove of Brubaker and sneaks into right field for a leadoff single for Marcus Manzardo. That's his first hit today and 7th total for the Wildcats. They've picked up a hit in every inning so far this ball game. So that one being ruled an E4 fielding error on Gavin Brubaker. Here's a bunt laid down the first base line, picked up by Karpstein. He'll throw to first. They get the out there, so a sacrifice bunt successful by Baba Varner Jr. Manzardo moves out to second.
Number 19, third baseman Brandon Ponce.
Brandon Ponce, the batter, with a man at second and one away. A chance for the Wildcats to extend their lead. Here's the 0-1. Ponce watches it in the dirt to even his count at 1-1. Cutting the tip foul by Ponce. Hasn't been retired yet in this game. Single in the first, walk in the third for the Wildcat third baseman. One-two, cut and a miss. I say tip back into the glove. That's strikeout number 3 for Landon Parker in this one.
Number 20, left fielder Ben Lee.
That'll bring up Ben Lead with 2 away. Manzardo still hanging tight at second base as Central looks to lead by multiple runs for the first time in this ball game. Lead hitless in game number 2. Grounded into an inning-ending double play in the third. Takes a called strike. Five hits aside in this ball game. Offense has certainly been there for both teams so far. They're getting bats on the ball. For NNU, however, it was a lot of that concentrated in the first. We saw something similar happen in game number 1. So Jonathan Garza gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in inning number 1. He's really settled in since then. Daniel Sharon did the same exact thing for the Wildcats in that first game. Got roughed up in the first, had to face 8 batters, gave up a couple of runs, but then after that, really solid through the 6th. Had some trouble in the 7th. Count 0-2. Runs high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. As one lifted into left field. That one straight at Arachiga, and that will end the top of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and 1 left on. 3-2 our score. We got 4.5 in the books here on GNAC TV. Bottom of the fifth, 3-2 score, Central Washington, Northwest Nazarene. Here's Jason Bell leading things off. Takes the first pitch, breaking ball.
Catcher Jason Bell.
This is Jonathan Garza back for his fifth inning of work. 4 innings so far, 2 runs on 5 hits allowed. 4 strikeouts in there. Has not issued a walk in this game. That's fouled off on the third base side. Count runs 0-2. Bell, one of 4 strikeout victims at the hands of Garza in this game. He went down swinging in the second. He's 0 for 1. That just runs inside 1 and 2. It's been 3 scoreless innings since we last saw a run crossed in the top of the second inning. Both these teams get their offense across early. That one just over the head of Bell. Just about caught him in the helmet. His count 2 and 2. Fastball just below the knees. Count is full. Payoff pitch. Looked like it caught him on the hand, maybe the forearm. Either way, hit by pitch for Jason Bell on what would have been ball number 4 anyway.
Center fielder Carter Walsh.
So here is Carter Walsh. And Central head coach Desi Story wants just a little bit of explanation from the home plate umpire, Todd Ellis, about something. And he's quickly back to the dugout. Here's the Nighthawks center fielder, Carter Walsh, showing bunt and taking a strike. Showing bunt a bit, again pulls back and moves into a 1-1 count. Does get this one down, taps it down the first baseline, going to stay fair. Garza has to make an uncomfortable throw, but he does get it there in time. So 1 out here in the bottom of the fifth. Back to the top of the order with Nin Burns a second. Breaking ball fouled hard down the first base line off the bat of Burns. Garza really has an opportunity to go deep in this game. He's gone as many as 8 innings previously this season, but that was back on March 1st. As of late, it's been some shorter outings. Just through 2 2/3 last weekend against MSUB. This one a hard grounder through the left side. Another base hit for Burns, his second single of the day. That's going to push Bell over to third. Men on the corners and 1 out. NNU 90 feet away from tying this ball game.
Third baseman Brian Rojas.
Brian Rojas, the batter, with Burns at first, Bell at third, and one out. Base hit ties this game, 3-2 Wildcats leading. But that in danger here in the bottom of the fifth. Fastball misses outside. Garza shakes off Helm a couple times. Finally, they agree on something. The 1-0 away again. But back to the recent workload of Jonathan Garza. Hasn't thrown more than 4 1/3 but one time in his last 6 appearances. Rojas flies this one down the left field line. Playable for lead. Right on the chalk, he makes a catch. Tagging from third. Bell will come in to score. Heading for second. Burns will be safe as well. So a sac fly for Brian Rojas has this game tied at 3. And some solid base running there for Nin Burns as well to utilize his speed. As soon as he saw that throw heading towards home instead of towards second, he took off. Even though it was cut off, he beats the throw out to second. And now puts the go-ahead run in scoring position for the Nighthawks. Here's Karpstein. Undoubtedly a dangerous bat for NNU. Takes it inside. He's doubled and scored in this game, 1 for 2. That'll miss just off his shoelaces. 2 balls, no strikes. Karpstein, your conference leader in batting average this year. Only player in the GNAC who managed to hit over 400. And not only was he the conference leader in batting average, but he did so by 24 points. The next close of qualified hitters being Jack Naylor of MSUB, who hit 382. Despite having that big advantage in batting average, Karpstein not first in OPS. Brandon Ponce has him beat there by almost 100 points just because the power hasn't quite been there for Karpstein as it has for Ponce. 4 home runs for Karpstein as opposed to the 18 of Ponce, to put that in perspective. It's a 3-0 count for the NNU first baseman. 2 away, Nin Burns the second at second base. Here's Garza's 3-0. Runs inside, and it's a 4-pitch walk. So we've had a hit batter, a walk, and a single in this inning. 1 run already on the ledger for the bottom of 5, and Adrian Arechiga trying to make it another. Arechiga hitless so far, but a sac fly and a run batted in the first. Takes his first pitch for strike 1. He's got 2 aboard with runners at first and second. Blocked in the dirt by Helm. Helps to avoid advancing a couple base runners. So we're back to an even ball game, as that was the first run we have seen scored since the top of 2. 1 misses low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wind has really calmed down as we've gotten into this afternoon. It was a little blustery this morning. You could see on a few what would have been routine fly balls that there were some adjustments that had to be made in the outfield for that Central Washington MSUB game. And now as we pass 2:30 in the afternoon on this Thursday, a lot quieter here in Ellensburg. 3-1 count on Arechiga. Pitch on the way as the runners go. Chopper towards short. Birch able to throw him out. Run does cross the plate here in the bottom of 5. That on the power, just 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We're back to a new ball game. 3-3 our score, Central and NNU, as we head to the 6th on GNAC TV.
Spinning out the top of the 6th is center fielder Max Bloody.
Top of the 6th inning in a new ball game at 3-3. Max Bloody leads off for Central Washington. Leadoff hit by pitch for Jason Bell turns into a run 3 batters later on the sac fly of Brian Rojas. So 3-3 our score as we get into the 6th. Still Landon Parker on the mound for Northwest Nazarene. And no one throwing in the pen now, so perhaps we could be seeing 7 out of Parker here tonight. Who knows? Bloody. 2-0 be in for a strike. Furthest we have seen Parker go this season is 6 2/3, and that was in his last appearance of the regular season, April 26th against St. Martin's. That catches the inner half. 2-2 after the called strike. Early on in the year, he was just called out of the pen. Only really became a part of the rotation since mid-March. Before that, he hadn't thrown more than 2 innings in a ball game. So while the arm is stretched out now, he hasn't been exposed to these longer outings for too long. 3-2 pitch on the ground to short. Kalnin takes a bad hop off of his hip, and that'll be a safe reach for Max Bloody on the E6 fielding error.
Number 15, first baseman Andrew Sharp.
Here's Andrew Sharp with 1 on, nobody out. Sharp shows bunt, lays a hard one down the line. Going to be picked up just foul by Karpstein. That one got down the line in a hurry. Stayed fair for a good 65, 70 feet there before it rolls onto the wrong side of the chalk. And these last couple of games, bunts have played a pretty big role. Seen a lot of guys get moved over. A couple of runs have resulted in some timely bunting. This one popped up. Playable by Bell, and he's got it. So Andrew Sharp can't execute, and he's put away for the first out of the inning.
Designated hitter Brady Hinkle.
Brady Hinkle, the designated hitter, 2 for 2 in this game. All in all, he has had now 6 plate appearances, this being his 7th over these 2 games of the GNAC Championships. 3 hits and 4 total reaches in that time. That misses inside, 1-0. Parker's offering. Down the chute for a strike. That one misses low and outside. 2-1 the count on Hinkle. Taking a look at the West Region rankings and the picture that gives us for what could happen this weekend is just about to set the 2 regionals as we get into the national tournament. NNU, currently the #1 seed in the West Region. They have an identical record at 38-12 with Westmont, who currently sits in the 2 spot. The other GNAC team currently in that top 6 picture, MSUB in the 5 spot. There's a called strike as Brady Hinkle had tossed his bat back towards the dugout. And he gives the apology to home plate umpire Todd Ellis. Didn't mean to show him up there. He'll return for the 3-2. Runner takes off. This one grounded to third. Rojas has it. Throw high brings Karpstein off the bag, but he's able to apply, and we've got 2 down. Bleddy out to second on the play. Those non-GNAC teams in the West Regional top 6 right now, as I said, Westmont in the 2 spot. Chico State's got the 3. Point Loma, the alma mater of NNU head coach Joe Schaefer, is in the 4 spot. And Cal State Monterey Bay in the 6th seed right now. Also happens to be, Point Loma that is, also happens to be the alma mater of Western Oregon's head coach in Kellen Walker. Here's Travis Helm with 2 outs and a man at second base. Fastball bounces off the plate. One slider runs into the left-handed batter's box. 2-1 goes with the fastball. Misses low. Landon Parker now 5 2/3 innings deep with 3 runs given up on 6 hits in this one. 3-1 pitch. High bouncer to third. Rojas back on his heels. Makes another high throw. Karpstein reaches up, and they're going to say he was off the bag. And immediately out of the dugout is Northwest Nazarene head coach Joe Schaefer. Bleddy advances to third on the play. So Schaefer's going to have his words with Cody Allenbrand down at first. And they're going to come together to talk about this one. You know, this is a similar situation we talked about. A hit by pitch being talked about with all 4. I just don't see how any of the other 3 umpires can overturn a call here at first, but we shall see. Perhaps someone saw something that Cody just could not get eyes on. And the call is going to stand. So the inning continues on the second error of the frame. This one an E5 on Brian Rojas at third. 3 total errors in this game by the Northwest Nazarene defense. Justin Birch, the batter, with Helmet first and Bleddy at third. 3-3 our score here in the top of the 6th. Oh, 1 offering. Birch watches into the dirt. 1-1. After a pickoff move over to first. Helm staying close to the bag. Helm this season, no stolen bases to his name. You know, something that hadn't stood out to me till just now. We have not seen an NNU stolen base in this game, and that is something they have been so aggressive with this year. Northwest Nazarene, 105 steals. There's a big strikeout to end the inning. And they'll get out of a scoreless frame. 4th strikeout today for Landon Parker. No runs, no hits, 2 errors, and 2 left on for the Wildcat offense in the top of the 6th. 5.5 in the books. 3-3 our score here on GNAC TV. Bottom of the sixth inning remains a 3-3 tie here in Ellensburg. Thank you for spending your Thursday afternoon with us for the 2025 GNAC Baseball Championships. Appreciate having you along for Central Washington versus Northwest Nazarene here in game number 2 of a 3-game day at CWU Baseball Field. Jonathan Garza is back for his 6th inning of work on the hill for the Wildcats. He is facing Enriquez, Calnan, and Brubaker in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 count for Chris Enriquez will miss up 2 balls and 1 strike. The Nighthawks designated hitter, 2 for 2 in this one. He's in for a third of the NNU hits in this game. Fouls away the 2-1, evens his count up. Enriquez put off on the base path after both of his hits. Breaking ball chopped just in front of the mound where Garza can track it down and throw out Enriquez for out number 1. So 1 away here in the bottom of 6. Line score of this game right now. Central Washington, 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors committed. NNU having some trouble defensively. They've got 3 runs on 6 hits, but 3 errors to their name. And here's Cole Calnan. First pitch fastball taken at the knees for a strike. Callan hitting .304 this year, and the scope of what this young man has been able to do on both sides of the baseball is so impressive. Not only is he hitting over 300 and playing arguably one of the most difficult defensive positions at short, not only that, named pitcher of the year on top of it. He's commanded a 1.78 ERA in 11 starts, throwing 76 innings as well. He's quite the all-around player this year for Northwest Nazarene. 1-2. Misses outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garza's offering. He continues to work the outer half on Callan. That one won't catch. Count's now full. He's been able to get the better of him twice. Fielder's choice to end the first inning, and got him to pop up in foul territory towards first base in the 4th. Here's a payoff pitch. In at the knees, and he got him looking. That's the 5th strikeout today for Jonathan Garza. And we are beginning to see some movement in the Central Washington bullpen as they have a righty up and moving. Same deal for Northwest Nazarene. Action in both pens right now. Breaking ball will miss. This is Gavin Brubaker, 2 outs and nobody on. That fastball straight back off the mask of Travis Helm. And home plate umpire Todd Ellis will give him a moment and walk the ball out to the mound. Looks like Helm's fine. Well, just as we saw in game 1 today, it's going to come down to these last 3 innings. Who can pick up a late run? Brubaker goes chasing one high, 1-2. You could see the frustration as he stepped out of the box, a little upset with himself. 1-2 pitch. Grounder out to short. Birch throw in time, and it's a 1-2-3-6 inning. Jonathan Garza has retired 4 straight. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left on. We head to the 7th inning. It's Central Washington 3 and Northwest Nazarene 3 here on GNAC TV. Top of 7 here in Ellensburg. 3-3 our score. We got a doozy on hand here. Central Washington and Northwest Nazarene. As the first batter of the inning will be Marcus Manzardo. Flares a little single into left field. Another leadoff base hit. First hit of this ball game for Marcus Manzardo. And his second reach brings up Bob Varner Jr. Landon Parker in his 7th inning of work. We're going to see another mound visit here for Landon Parker. He might just be at the end of his rope. And it looks like, yeah, they are making the call to the bullpen. So we're going to step away. It's going to be Joe Eiley coming in to replace him. And Parker just given the one batter here in the 7th, and his day is done. 1 on, nobody out. We're in the top of 7. 3-3 the score. Joe Eiley the pitcher when we come back here on GNAC TV. Joe Eiley in relief for Northwest Nazarene. 3-3 our score here in the top of the 7th as he comes in to replace Landon Parker. First pitch in for Baba Varner. Little dribbler out in front of the plate. He is taken care of. Marcus Manzardo into scoring position.
Number 19, third baseman Brandon Ponce.
Well, here's Brandon Ponce stepping up to the plate after the sacrifice bunts. Manzardo in scoring position representing the go-ahead run. And Ponce 1 for 2 today with a single and a walk. First pitch fastball grounded out to short. Callan has it, going to go for the lead man. Gets away from third baseman Rojas. Manzardo will stay there. Heading for second is Ponce. He'll get there. So an E6 throwing error on Cole Callan allows Ponce to get out to second after the fielder's choice. Fourth total error on NNU and the second on Callan at short. So men at second and third with just one out now. And some trouble brewing here for the Nighthawks. And it's going to be an intentional walk of Ben Lead. So here's Max Bleddy. Haven't even had a chance to introduce Joe Eiley with all the action so far. Eiley replacing Landon Parker on the mound. Eiley comes in with a 1-1 record and a 3.95 ERA this season. A senior out of Caldwell, Idaho. Staying close to home for his collegiate baseball.
Number 12, Max Bleddy.
And misses just outside on Bleddy, 1-0. So the line for Landon Parker right now, 6+ innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk, and 4 Ks. One 0 offering. Runs just outside the appeal down on the check swing. No, he did not go. 2-0 the count on Bleddy. And Artie action again in the NNU bullpen as Jonathan Zayas has quickly gotten up. As Eiley has found some early trouble. Hasn't given up a hit. It's been a sac bunt, fielder's choice, and an intentional walk. Bases loaded for the Wildcats, trying to reclaim the lead. Bleddy hitless in this game, but hit by a pitch and scored in the second. Reached on an error in the 6th. Takes a 2-1 up in his armpits. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Bleddy knows that Eiley's got to give him a strike. 3-1. Lines it into right field for a base hit. This will be 2. Burns will throw home. Here comes from second Ponce. He's in safely. It's a 2 RBI single for Max Bleddy. And Central Washington back on top by a pair. It's 5-3.
Number 15, Andrew Sharp.
The Wildcats have not beaten Northwest Nazarene this year. They now hold a 2-run lead here in the 7th. Sharp fouls it off on the left side. Bleddy at first, Lead at second. 2 runs already in this inning on just 1. No, make it 2 hits in the inning. Oh, 1 count on Sharp. Low check swing, and he falls into an 0-2 hole. Here's the 0-2 chop foul. Sharp looking for his first hit of the game, and boy, would it be a big one here. An opportunity for lead to score and push it to a 3-run advantage. 0-2 misses high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The inning started with a leadoff single from Manzardo. He was bunted over by Varner. Ponce reached on a fielder's choice, accompanied with the throwing error of Cole Callan. That got him out to second. Lead was intentionally walked to load the bases. And now here on the 1-2, Sharp splashes it into left field. Lead is going to get caught up in a rundown between third and home. Bell runs him back to the bag. He tries to slide around the tag, and he's put out. So a big base running mistake there from the Wildcats. Instead of the bases loaded and 1 down, they've got 2 away and runners at first and second. So a tough spot there as Lead was told to put the brakes on. He was heading for home, and the last minute they wanted him to hold up, and he gets caught up in the rundown between third and home. And that'll cost the Wildcats a valuable base runner. Looks like Jason Bell is having a little malfunction with his mask. It's got some double barrel action in the NNU bullpen. And it's a couple of lefties up as well. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. This is Brady Hinkle at the plate. Here's the 0-1. Grounder through the left side. That's into left field. Being sent around is Bleddy. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. He's safe, and the Wildcats lead it by 3. Now a 3-run 7th inning for Central Washington. That's 3 consecutive hits and 5 consecutive reaches for the Wildcats here in the 7th. And Eiley struggling. The batter, Travis Helm, takes it up and in. Two outs and 2 on. Central seeing how much they can squeeze out of this inning. Helm is the 8th batter of the inning for Central Washington. It started with Manzardo. We've now seen 4 hits in air and 3 runs through this frame. 2-0, flared into shallow right. This one's trouble. In on the run. Burns is able to get there, and that will end the inning. But not before 3-run score on 4 hits, 1 air, and 2 left on. 6-3, Central Washington leads Northwest Nazarene as we stretch it out here in Ellensburg. 3 runs for the Wildcats in the top of the 7th inning. A 2 RBI single for Max Bleddy, another RBI single for Brady Hinkle. Makes this a 6-3 Central Washington advantage as we head into the bottom of the 7th. This is Jason Bell to lead off for the Nighthawks. He is again facing Jonathan Garza II, back for his 7th inning of work. 2-0 count on the catcher Bell. And Central Washington does have a man up and loosening up in the bullpen. So Garza should have some help ready behind him in case he gets into some trouble here in the bottom of 7. Aaron's alone inside. 3-0 now the count on Bell. We have seen Garza go as many as 8 innings this season, but hasn't gone longer than 6 innings since March 28th. 3-0 pitch. Down the pipe, strike number 1. Three-one cut and a miss by Bell. Catcher hit by a pitch and scored in the 5th. That got the game back to even. Didn't last long as a 3-run 7th for Central. 3-2 swing and a miss. 5 in a row now retired by Garza. He has not given up a hit in 8 batters now. Here's Carter Walsh. That was strikeout number 6 on the day for Garza. 3rd highest total of the season for him. And in fact, whatever it is about these matchups with the Nighthawks, his 3 highest strikeout totals on the year have all been against NNU. 8 against the Nighthawks on April 18th, 7 against them on March 14th, and now 6 so far here today. 1 out, nobody on for Carter Walsh, who finds himself in a 2-0 count. Pitch on the way. Walsh briefly shows bunt. Pulls back, and it's a called strike number 1. Here's a 2-1. Flown foul on the right field side. If the Wildcats can pull this one off, this is going to be a huge win for them. Not only facing the end of their season here today, should they lose to the Nighthawks. 2-2 cut and a miss, back-to-back strikeouts from Garza. He's now got 7 Ks. So not only facing the end of their season, but facing an NNU team that had won 8 in a row and was 8-0 against the Wildcats this season. Central Washington now 7 defensive outs away from guaranteeing themselves another day of baseball. Back to the top of the order with Nin Burns II. First pitch, inner half for a called strike. Burns 2 for 3 in this game with a run scored. Fouls the 0-1 off. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Garza's 0-2. Up and in. He has struck out 3 of the last 4 to come to the plate. Between the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters, Garza has struck them out 6 times. 1-2 just misses outside. Kicking the 2-2. Lined at third, 1 hop. Ponce able to knock it down. His throw to first there in time. And Garza has himself a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th inning. Central Washington holding a 3-run lead. We're into the 8th. 6-3 Wildcats here on GNAC TV.
Leading off the top of the 8th for Central Washington.
6-3 ball game goes to the top of the 8th inning. Central Washington leading Northwest Nazarene. Jonathan Garza just seems to be getting better as the game goes on. He's now retired 7 straight as he's had consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings. Justin Birch leads off for the Wildcats here in the top of the 8th. First pitch, he flies into left field. That's tracked down by Arachiga, and we've got 1 down. Adam Brooks is in relief for the Nighthawks. He replaces Joseph Eiley, who just went 1 inning, 2 runs on 3 hits, a walk, and no strikeouts. Brooks comes into this game 1-0 record, 4.85 his ERA. The left hand. We're back at the top of the order. This is Marcus Manzardo, 1 away and nobody on. Manzardo, the one that got all that action started for Central in the 7th. 1-0. That'll miss high. 2 balls, no strikes. Brooks making his 14th appearance of the season. They have all been out of the bullpen. It's pretty consistently been averaging 1 inning a game here as of recent. He was a 2-inning setup man early on in the season, but hasn't thrown more than an inning since February 14th. In 4 of his first 5 outings, he threw at least 2 innings. Hasn't done it since Valentine's Day. That one's going to miss. Manzardo is walked aboard. 3rd consecutive reach for Manzardo. An error, a single, and now a walk for him. Looks like we got a loose baseball back behind home. This will be Baba Varner Jr., the batter. Wildcats, after this time up to the plate, will have to find a way to just come up with 6 more defensive outs to keep their season alive. Big swing and a miss as Varner got out in front. Brooks from the stretch gets Varner to fly it into center field. Walsh a few steps back. He's got the read and the catch for the second out of the inning. Manzardo has to hold it first. Well, Adam Brooks has just faced 3 batters, but he's going to get a visit from the dugout, and Joe Schaefer is going to make the call to the pen. So Adam Brooks does exactly what he was supposed to. He faces 3, and that's going to be the end of his day. We'll step aside for another pitching change. 4th pitcher of the game in for the Nighthawks. It's 6-3 Wildcats here in the top of the 8th on GNAC TV. So the 4th pitcher of the game in for Northwest Nazarene. This is Josh Bishop in to replace Adam Brooks, who just faces 3 batters before he's yanked from this one. Does give up a walk in there, but retires the other 2 he sees. So Bishop does inherit 1 base runner, 2 outs and 1 on. He is facing Brandon Ponce as they Just really didn't want the left-on righty matchup here for Ponce. So they bring in the right-hander, Josh Bishop, 5-1 record, 4.74 his ERA. Ponce takes one high and away for a ball, 1-2 the count. Bishop, the product of Sydney, Australia, making his 14th appearance of the year. Did make one spot start this season. Redshirt senior in his final year of collegiate baseball. After the conclusion of this one, we'll have a short break, and then it'll be NNU playing Montana State Billings in the final game of the day. 2-2, that misses high and away. Now a full count on Ponce. Three-two as the runner takes off, lined into left field for a base hit. Manzardo turns around second, heads in for third. Ponce will go for second, and he's got it. So the inning continues with now two runners in scoring position. A base hit could really open things up here for the Wildcats. The batter now, Ben Lead. Hitless in this game, 0 for 3. But one of the guys, if you're the Wildcats, you really want up in this spot. 327 hitter on the season. Ponce at second, Manzardo at third. One's going to miss, 1-1. Fifth batter of the inning, Lead takes a fastball that misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Two-one fouled away, 2-2 count. Last time Bishop faced Central Washington, he had his longest outing of the season. Went 3 innings, gave up a run on 3 hits. Struck out 1 and walked 2. 2-2. Popped up foul territory on the right field line. Burns into his own bullpen, able to get there and make the catch and end a scoreless top of the 8th. No runs on a hit, 2 left on. It remains a 3-run ball game. 6-3 our score. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th here on GNAC TV. 6-3 ball game heads into the bottom of the 8th inning. Brian Rojas leads off for the Nighthawks. Takes a hack at the first pitch he sees and pops out to the shortstop, Justin Birch. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. And that was pitch number 118 for Jonathan Garza II. He is now 2 outs away from tying his season high in innings pitched. And he has retired 8 straight going back to the 5th inning. Here's Caleb Karpstein. This is, in fact, the last batter to reach for Northwest Nazarene. He got aboard with a 2-out walk in the 5th and got stranded at first. Here's the 1-0. Pipes it in for a strike. One, cut and a miss. Karpstein 1 for 2 in the game, doubled off of Garza back in the first. The 1-2 flared out towards left field. That's going to be down for a base hit. So that ends the run at 8 consecutive retired, and Karpstein picks up his second hit of the game. We've got 1 on and 1 out.
Number 20, Adrian Arachiga.
So here's Adrian Arachiga. 1 on and 1 out after the Karpstein single. First pitch, grounds it over to first. Bobbled by Sharp, but he's able to recover and step on the bag. For out number 2, Karpstein advances to second on the play. And now Jonathan Garza an out away from tying his career high in innings pitched. Brings up Chris Enriquez, the DH. A lot of work to be done here for Northwest Nazarene, and they only have 4 outs of wiggle room. We're in the bottom of 8, 6-3 Central Washington leads. First pitch for Enriquez misses. Kicking the offering, fouled back to the screen to even the count. Couple looks back to second. Garza gets a foul back, and now he's a strike away from sending us to the 9th inning. So as I said, Garza an out away from tying his career high in innings pitched. He's also 3 off of matching his career high in strikeouts. And you just got to wonder, will Desi Story let him come back for the 9th in this spot? Here's the 1-2. High and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the one hand, you want to leave his own fate for a senior in his own hands. Let him go as long as he's able. But you still have a 3-run lead to protect and want to do what's best for the team, of course. 2-2. Enriquez chops it foul on the first base side. But with this ultimately going to be the last collegiate start for Jonathan Garza. You think, that arm's not getting saved for next week. How far can the kid go? 2-2. Breaking ball, fouled back. Enriquez sticking around. Two outs. Karpstein taking his lead off of second. Here's the 2-2. This one lined at first, caught by Sharp. And that will end the eighth. One hit, no runs, one left on. Jonathan Garza has spun a gem here today. 6-3 the score. We're heading to the ninth. Jonathan Garza has now thrown 130 pitches in this game. He has faced one over the minimum in his last 3 innings of work, tied his career high in innings pitched, and there is still the possibility that he comes back for the ninth. What a cool story it's been for the senior out of Othello, Washington. This is Max Bloody leading off here in the top of the ninth. 6-3 Wildcats leading. He's again facing Josh Bishop, who's back for his second inning of relief. Just had to face 2 batters in the 8th. Did give up a double to Brandon Ponce, but then retired lead on a fly out to right to end the inning. Bloody with a big 2 RBI single in the 7th in his last at-bat, looking to add on to that. Here's 2-1, fouls it away and evens the count. Bishop from a stretch, 2-2. Flown into shallow right. This one could be trouble. Back on is the first baseman, Karpstein. He's the one that makes a catch. And there's one out here in the top of the ninth.
First baseman, number 15, Andrew Sharp.
So here's Andrew Sharp. One out, no one on. The Wildcats would love an insurance run here. That one misses inside. Now the story of this game, let's run it back. NNU struck first. They had an early 2-0 lead on 2 runs in the first. Karpstein doubled, Burns singled in that inning. Then it was eventually a sac fly and a wild pitch that got those 2 runs across. NNU led just briefly at 2-0. Then Central with 3 runs in the second. 2-run home run from Justin Birch led the way there. That 3-2 lead for the Wildcats lasted until the 5th. Nighthawks were able to tie it up on a sac fly that scored Jason Bell. That made it 3-3. Central pulled the lead back out in the top of the 7th. 3 runs on 4 hits. RBI singles from Bleddy and Hinkle. That was the last of the scoring. It's 6-3 here in the 9th. Two. Hard grounder back up the middle. Backhand try by Brubaker. Can't get there in time. That's a 1-out single. Second hit today for Sharp. So he's 2 for 5. The batter now, Brady Hinkle, with 1 on and 1 out. Central Washington, a chance to expand on their 3-run advantage. It's a cut to move Hinkle into an 0-2 count. There is action in the Central bullpen. But the question we're all dying to know, will Jonathan Garza be back for the bottom of the 9th? Hinkle gets rung up. First strikeout for Bishop. And we have 2 away in the inning.
Number 8, catcher Travis Howell.
Here's Travis Helm. That one catches him at the knees for a strike. Sharp at first base after the 1-out single. Oh, 1 just misses out. One pitch. For Northwest Nazarene in the bottom of the 9th, they'll be sending Calnan, Brubaker, and Bell up. That's the 6, 7, 8 in the order. Try and keep this ball game alive. Otherwise, it'll be NNU on the ropes when they face MSUB later this evening. Two and 2 count here on Travis Helm. Fastball misses outside now, so a full count. Runner takes off on the 3-2. It's fouled away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Josh Bishop wraps up a scoreless top of the 9th. We are heading to the bottom of inning number 9 with Central Washington leading 6-3 over Northwest Nazarene here on GNAC TV. Into the bottom of the ninth we go. 6-3 Central Washington leads Northwest Nazarene, and we have seen the end of the road for Jonathan Garza. He goes 8 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts for the senior. He's replaced by sophomore Kellen Berg. 1-1 record, 5.86 ERA this season for Berg, making his 14th appearance. He's got 3 saves under his belt as well. First batter he deals with is Cole Callanan, and quickly gets him into an 0-2 count. Berg, 27 2/3 innings of work this season, 12 strikeouts. 0-2 pitch, runs high with it, 1-2. We have the Wildcats hold on to this one. Story, this one's going to be Jonathan Garza in his outing today. 130 pitches in this one for the Wildcats. Callanan splashes a leadoff single into right field.
Second baseman Gavin Brubaker.
So here's Gavin Brubaker. 1 on and nobody out. Brubaker 0 for 3 today. And the next 3 due up. If you're Berg, you got to take some solace in this. The next 3 due up for the Nighthawks in this game. A combined 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts. So it has been a quiet back third of the order this afternoon for NNU. Pickoff move to first. A slow one, but Callanan stays close. And again, no stolen bases here today for NNU. A team that is averaging over 2 steals a game. Haven't even seen them attempt one today. Here's the 0-1. Misses outside, off the glove of Helm. So Callanan out to second on a pass ball. And the count moves 1-1. Kick in the 1-1 breaking ball, misses inside. Looks like we're going to see our first pinch hitter of this game for Northwest Nazarene, as it's not Jason Bell waiting in the on-deck circle for them, but instead Casey Wayne. So it looks like Bell's afternoon is coming to an end. Callanan at second. And a 3-1 count here at the plate on Brubaker. Takes one in for a called strike. Kellenberg looking for his first out of the inning. 3-2 and a foul away. Berg makes his home in Kennewick, Washington. Last pitched against NNU on April 18th. He gave up 5 runs. I'll make it 3 runs on 5 hits in an inning and 2/3. Here's another 3-2. And another foul away as Brubaker continues to battle. Three-two breaking ball, got him looking, and Brubaker knew it. That's one down, and here is Casey Wayne to pinch hit.
Pinch hitting, number 27, Casey Wayne.
Wayne coming in for Jason Bell, whose day ends having gone 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a hit by pitch. First pitch, Wayne watches a breaking ball drop in for a strike. Oh, 1, that'll miss outside. There's a cut and a miss. Wayne this season making his 26th appearance. He's hitting .367 on the year. Only made 11 starts during the regular season, however. He's got a couple home runs to his name. One-two pitch. That one misses. Count evens at 2-2. Find the last time that Central Washington beat NNU. You got to go back to May 3rd of 2024. Wayne pulls one foul. That was back when NNU was ranked nationally. They were 24th in the country. And Central put a 9-7 win on them back at Vail Field in Nampa. 2-2 is going to miss. Payoff pitch. 3-2 again, pulled foul on the left side. We've got one down here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Central Washington leading Northwest Nazarene 6-3. Cole Cowlin, after the leadoff single, is out at second base. Here's the 3-2. And that's going to miss. And it'll bring the tying run to the plate. And it's going to be Carter Walsh.
Number 39, Carter Walsh.
Walsh hitless today. He's been quiet at the plate with 2 strikeouts. Comes up in a big spot and fouls his first pitch straight back. He's got Wayne at first, Cowlin at second. 0-1 breaker. That'll drop in for a strike. Walsh, a .257 hitter, but slugging .400 this year. Got 5 doubles, 3 triples, and 3 homers to his name. Watches one upstairs. 1-2. Nin Burns waiting in the on-deck circle as the Nighthawks would love to turn the lineup card and continue this ball game. They've got a long way to go, trailing by 3. 1-2. As Walsh goes chasing a curveball and puts it foul back behind the third base dugout. Wind starting to pick up quite a bit here in Ellensburg. Despite the flag out in right center field holding still, we've got the flags back behind the dugout on the first base side really going. Another pop foul by Walsh as he continues to battle here with Berg. Remains a 1-2 count. Carter Walsh, the center fielder, looking to continue this ball game for the Nighthawks. 1-2. Takes one away. So if Central Washington can finish off this win, Jonathan Garza has done this team a huge favor. He's kept pretty much their entire bullpen fresh for tomorrow. 2-2, popped up back behind home. Could be playable for Helm, but just out of play. The count remains 2-2. 2 base runners aboard, and the tying run at the plate for the Nighthawks. Cut and a miss. Big second strikeout by Kellen Berg. That is the third strikeout of the game for Walsh, and it'll bring up Nin Burns the second. Before he can come up, we're going to see Desi Story out for a quick conversation. Due up, you've got the right-handed hitting Burns. And we are 1 out away from getting this game in the books. I think Story just wants to have a conversation about the approach here for this batter. And not a real consideration about Yank and Berg. So we'll get back to it. Wayne at first and Callan at second. A single and a walk have put 2 men aboard in the inning. So Ninburn stepping in 2 for 4 with a couple of singles and a run scored in this game. It's out in front of a curveball. Oh, and 1 count for Burns, the right fielder. He's got to get aboard to keep this game going. Berg and out away from keeping the Wildcats season alive in a must-win game for Central Washington. A team they have not beat in the last 8 tries. There's strike number 2, and they're now a pitch away from doing it. It's been a year and 5 days since they've been able to top the Nighthawks. Can they do it in the most important scenario here in the postseason? The 1-2. Got him looking, and the Wildcats pick up the win.
And
6-3, Central Washington shocks Northwest Nazarene, and the Wildcats keep their season alive.
move on to tomorrow's action. Northwest Nazarene will play Montana State Billings in an elimination game.
We've got one more game to come today.
35 to 40 minutes.
It's going to be NNU versus MSUB. It's going to come up in about 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll get going with that. Thank you for joining us with the continuing coverage of the 2025 GNAC Baseball Championships. For over a year, Central Washington went without a win against Northwest Nazarene. They top them here today, 6-3, the final score here on GNAC TV.